Welcome! In this activity, I'm going to show you how to make a photosynthesis diorama. In this activity, students will include the 3 ingredients that plants need to make products such as oxygen and the glucose molecule. Let's go! Let's get started and make our photosynthesis diorama. So the first thing we want to do is take our sheet, and I like to color all of my parts before I cut them out. It just makes it a little bit easier because once you cut something out that's kind of small like this, it's easy to bend this as you're trying to color and everything. So what I want to do first is I want to go ahead and color all my parts. This is going to represent a strip of grass right here, so I'm going to use a green for that. This is going to be our sun, so I'm going to use yellow for that one there. I've got some leaves here that are eventually going to attach to my flower, so I'm going to do these green as well. I'll probably do this part of the flower right here green, and I think I'm going to use blue for the petals on my flower. For my arrows right here, 2 of them are going to be red, and then the other 2 are going to be orange. And then these boxes I'm actually going to leave white because we're going to end up writing something on the inside here. We can also leave our sun springs white. I'm going to show you a little technique that we can use to make an origami spring that we're going to attach behind our sunshine. So we don't really need to color this anything because it won't really be seen. So I'm going to work on coloring my parts. Your teacher may have you color things differently or let you use your own creativity to color your parts. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, there we go. Coloring is so relaxing, isn't it? Now, as you can see, I also added some purple for my petals here. So I kind of used both of these colors, and this is important. I forgot to mention it earlier, but this will give it a little contrast against the background of our sky that we're going to end up putting on our plate here. So now that all the parts are colored, let's go ahead and slide this to the side, and let's get our plate. We're going to go ahead and get our plate set up. The bottom, you kind of want to do this in thirds. The bottom third here is going to be your soil. So I'm going to use a brown there to represent the soil. And we're going to leave the top 2/3 of the plate for the sky. But I'm going to start with the bottom third of the plate, and I'm going to go ahead and set up the soil. Okay, now if you're anything like me, you may not be quite as happy with your clouds as you would like to be. So something that you could do is you could go ahead and color those in if you want, and we could actually use some of our scrap areas of our paper when we cut all these out to cut some cloud shapes, and then we can glue those on here as well, which actually might be kind of cool because it'll give us more of a, another dimension to this diorama here. So that's actually what I'm going to do. If you're happy with your clouds, you can keep them just like that. But mine started to look kind of like a face. So I'm going to color those in, and I'm going to make some clouds towards the end. All right, I think I'm going to be happier with that once I glue my clouds in later. So now let's go ahead and set our plate to the side, and let's get our paper back. And what we want to do now is we want to cut out all of our parts. And so we got to be very careful, especially like when cutting out our blades of grass here. Take your time, cut slowly around each of these. And same thing with your sun and your zigzag arrow here and the roots of your flower. Just take your time, cut very carefully. And so let's go ahead and cut everything out. So now all my parts are cut out. If you accidentally nicked anything or cut a little too much on something, no worries. You can always use tape or something to fix any mistakes. I know it can be a little tedious to cut out these parts here, but I have faith in you. You can do it. So now what we want to do is we want to start gluing our pieces onto our plate background. And again, you should have the soil, and then you should have the sky portion here. So what we're going to start with is actually going to be our flower here. So we're going to take our flower, and we're going to place it on our plate a little over to the side here. You want the root portion to be, kind of under the soil there, kind of deep down as you can get it. The flower part, of course, would be up here in the sky area. So what we want to do is take our glue, and we can glue that area behind the flower there. And I know it looks purple now, but this will disappear. So gluing that down, I'm gonna glue a little bit more behind the flower region here. There we go. And if you would like, you can leave kind of this top part up, and gives it kind of more of that, you know, dimensional effect that we were talking about earlier. There we go. Okay, so now let's take our grass, and we want to use this grass right here to kind of separate the soil from the sky. So we want to place this right along that portion there, just like that. And so again, I'm going to come and give a little blue line there on that portion to help hold this down. Reposition it down just a little bit. There we go, and I'm going to add a little more glue under this end. It wants to lift up on me. All right, and again, you could take these grass pieces here, kind of lift up on them, and give them a little bit more of that dimensional effect there. There we go. I have this stick out a little bit from the plate as best as I can. I'll use my other finger there to hold that base of that grass down. All right. Nice. Okay, so now we can take our leaves for the flower here, and we can place these on our plate. And I'm just going to kind of lay them on here to show you, how I would place them. I would place them about, here on the flower, somewhere in that range. One on each side. That looks kind of good. I'm going to go ahead and put them in position. Now for the leaves there, this might be easiest to add glue to the back since we have a good bit of area to work with. So I'm going to add glue to the back of this leaf here. Right, and I'm ready to go ahead and place this down. I'm going to put this one here. And I'm going to pick my other one up, add some glue to the back. Place that one a little bit beneath. There we go. Okay, so you can see that I used some of my scrap paper to make some clouds, and I like these a lot better than what I had originally. So I'm thinking about placing my clouds around the plate. I gotta keep in mind, I gotta leave room for the sun. Maybe on the lip of the plate and then there, and I'm thinking I'll put my sun right about here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna hold off on those clouds on the top, but I am gonna go ahead and glue this cloud down. Okay, so let's go over the sun springs. We're going to need to get these ready. So what we're going to do is create kind of an origami spring here. And what we want to do is add a little glue to this corner, like that. And we want to take the other spring piece and just place it across and form kind of a letter L, like that. There we go. Now this is where we're going to get to folding. So let's take this top part of the L and let's fold it across the bottom one, bringing it along the paper there, like that. Increase it, and then we're going to continue that pattern. Bring the other piece across, And you can see I'm twisting as I go, so each time I'm grabbing the top piece and pulling down. Twisting, grabbing the top piece, pulling down. Twist, grab the top piece, pull it down. Twist, grab the top piece, pull it down. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna hold right here for just a second. I'm gonna stretch this out to kind of show you what we're doing here. We're gonna create a spring that's gonna go behind our sun and it'll push it off of the plate. And this will give me a good glue part right there to place the sun on. And so I think I'm gonna lay this on here and just kind of see. Yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm gonna add the glue right here for the base portion of our spring. I'm gonna use my finger to press that in. You may just want to press the whole spring down, kind of like that. And gently pull it out. Here we go. Then I'm gonna add some glue to the back side of the sun. Just put extra on there just in case. Now, this can be a little tricky. But we want to take our finger behind that spring so that we have something to push against. And then press down on the sun so that it sticks to your spring. Look at that. Doot, 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 doot. Perfect. Good job. All right. So now we got that sun kind of coming off of the plate there a little bit. All right, so we got some arrows left and some boxes. Let's go ahead and get those done, and I'll come back to my final two clouds that I'll put up there at the top. All right, so plants, of course, need three things for photosynthesis. They need sunlight, so that's our first thing. And I want to take our zigzag arrow here, which represents light energy. And I want that to go towards the leaf, like that there. And so the leaves are kind of like your solar panels of the plant. You know, they absorb the sunlight energy, which is going to be used in photosynthesis. So I'm going to get some glue ready right there. I'm going to take this zigzag and I'm going to place it. Going from the sun, the arrow pointing towards the leaf. Nice. And we're going to use one of these boxes right here, right above it. That this box is going to be used to label what this arrow is. So we put that box there. And we're going to take our pen or pencil and we're just going to label that box as light energy.
Alright, so my camera quit on me and I didn't realize it till I had gotten almost all the way through with this portion. So I just wanted to show you here real quick what I ended up doing since I didn't know that I wasn't being recorded. So we had our light energy already labeled here. You can see I used the other two red arrows for the other two necessary ingredients for photosynthesis. So here I have carbon dioxide represented by the formula CO2. Using a red arrow showing that it is being absorbed through the leaves here. And that's going to be one of our critical ingredients for photosynthesis. And then the other thing, of course, plants need water, right? If you've ever grown a plant at home, it looks sad or droopy if you don't water it for a while, right? And so here I have water with the formula H2O going in through the roots here. And so, you know, this flower here being most likely a vascular plant, it would have vascular tissue inside, xylem and phloem. And the xylem is going to be transporting the water throughout this plant here. Now the phloem, the other tissue, is going to be transporting the food that our plant is making. Remember, this was the whole point of photosynthesis, right? For this plant, this autotroph here, to make its own food, which is going to be glucose, represented by the formula C6H12O6. And the glucose will be produced here in the leaves, and some of it will be transported to feed the cells down in the roots by that other tissue, the phloem. Now, also coming out of the leaf here is going to be that byproduct in this case, which is going to be oxygen, represented by the formula O2. And so those are my two orange arrows. I think of orange starting with the letter O, the outgoing things, you know, the product, what is produced here in this reaction. So these three are the ingredients, and then these two here are going to be our products. Now, the only other thing I have left here is going to be my last two clouds, which I'm going to glue kind of to the rim of my plate here. I'll place one cloud there, which is going to give us kind of some more of that dimensional effect that we were talking about. And I'll glue my last cloud over here towards this side. All right. And that's another reason why I put oxygen here kind of towards the rim of the plate, showing, you know, these plants, these autotrophs are the ones producing this oxygen, you know, for our atmosphere that we would need for cellular respiration.
So here is our completed diorama. We should have all parts now on the model, like the products. I'm sure yours looks great. Here's another view of the Sunspring here, so you can kind of see how that works. You can also pull up some of the looser parts on your plate, like the flower. You can also bend the little blades of grass here away from the plate there to give it some more of that dimensional effect. But I'm sure your teacher is proud of yours and wants to hang it in the classroom or maybe out in the hallway. Great job, everybody.